Okay, I told you I'd say something else when I got back home. I know I already did like a I'm back from Paris thing already, but that was only a few days after I come back, so I kind of wanted to do a follow-up of what life is like after you get back from a long trip like that. In my case, I'm kind of lucky. I haven't really had any problems reassimilating. I haven't accidentally spoken French to people, which is kind of surprising. So if I'm like thinking about French in my head and I have to talk to someone like immediately afterwards, I'll kind of hesitate for a second and be like, wait a minute, don't say bonjour, like that kind of thing. So it does kind of leave a mark on you. And there's a lot of things like minor differences in like the way you think, your opinions on certain things, and I'm sure that's going to be different for every person depending on how long they're in France, what they learn about France when they're over there, how they experience the culture, so I'm not really going to go into them. But anyway, so what I think is most important to me now that I'm back here and I've been over there is to sort of keep the French culture alive. The French culture that I've learned anyway in the language and all that. So the language part is, you know, kind of hard because there aren't a lot of people in the United States that speak French, so you don't have a lot of opportunities to use it. So I can't really talk to a lot of people, but one of the easiest things that I can do, and that you can do if you're looking to improve your French understanding while you're, well, before, you know, you go over, if you want to sort of refresh or get a little better after, during, whatever, is to listen to French music. I have quite a large percentage of my iPod actually is French music. Was before I went over to France actually, because French music was one of the things that really drew me into the language before I even studied it. I just thought it was, you know, so interesting and so beautiful, so I wanted to learn more about it. So I've always had a big interest in that, so here are some of my recommendations if you're looking to experience the French culture that way. And another really easy thing you can do is watch French movies. I was going to show you my French movie collection, but that was before I discovered that half of it is missing. So I don't know what my family's been doing with my movies when I went away. So I could show you some of them, but not all of them. Of course I have Amadou, which is the French movie that like everyone has because it's the best movie ever and all that. I would also have La Vie en Rose, but I haven't gotten around to buying it yet. But I do like that movie also. There's Inglourious Basterds, which is a fun one because it's French, German, English, and Italian, actually. So 4 languages in one, you know, American director, sort of American movie. So if you're kind of hesitant on that whole French cinema thing, that's a good starter there. Joyeux Noël, which is also a war movie, French, German, and English, but a lot more depressing. So, yeah, get ready for that when you watch this, but also a lot more historically accurate, and since I'm a history major, I really enjoy that about this movie. Oh yeah, and the title means Merry Christmas. Like I said, don't watch it on Christmas unless you like your Christmases kind of morose. So yeah, well, I don't know, there's a little bit of hope in there, I think, anyway, because it's a true story. Anyway, and then my latest edition is Après Vous, which I first saw in my French class fall semester before I went over, and it's just one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I really like it a lot. It's got a really interesting plot to it, and it's got a soundtrack with a song that will instantly get stuck in your head for the rest of your life, so be prepared for that. Be prepared to find it online as soon as you're done watching this movie and to sing it to yourself all the time like I did, and play it when you're on the metro in Paris and all that. And as you see, it's got a Blockbuster thing down there. That's what I was also going to talk about, is the best place to probably find French movies if you want to buy them is video rental stores, because like places like Borders, Bazbaz don't have a really big French movie section. So if your local Blockbuster, your local Hollywood Video is going out of business, like mine were, and they sell DVDs for like $2 each, just stock up. Okay, so yeah, and what else do I have? I bought a bunch last time Hollywood Video went out of business. I have L'Enfant, which is a dramatic one, but I really like it, and it won the Cannes Film Festival Palme d'Or, so it's a really good movie. Bon Voyage, which is kind of like a funny movie. I wasn't really into it last time I was watching it, so I was kind of like, eh. But I think if I watched it again, I would probably like it. What else do I have? Le Choiriste, which I've been told is super depressing, so I haven't watched that yet because I haven't really been in the mood to get depressed. I think I have one more, but I cannot think of what it is. So we're gonna have to wait on that. But another one that people told me is really good is L'Auberge Espagnole, I think is what it's called. Yeah. And also, I haven't seen it yet, but when I was abroad, I really wanted to see Rien à déclarer, which is some comedy about like the border patrol between Belgium and France, and that looked really funny. Oh, and also when I was in England, actually, one of my cousins showed me this really funny French comedy called Les Visiteurs, and it's like this thing about these knights that accidentally time travel to present-day France, and you know, it's one of those things where they're just like, oh my god, cars, what kind of magic is this? And this whole kind of funny thing. So I really like that movie too. And well, also, you know, if you don't have access to actually French movies, tons of DVDs have French language tracks on them. Like, it's super easy, you know, to do that, and it's pretty fun too, especially the cartoon ones. Like watching Shrek in French is pretty fun. And that brings me to my next one, which is French TV. I didn't really have access to a TV that much when I was in France, only when I was in hotels and stuff, really. So, one show that I saw that I really liked was this weird game show. It was called Charly fait la valise, and it had a very like Japanese game show feel to it. It was like everybody in the audience is dressed in all these weird costumes, and they ask 3 simple trivia questions. They go around the audience, they pick random people. If they can answer all 3, they get to be on the show, and they do some crazy, like, weird obstacle course thing or something. And then if they win, they go over to this luggage carousel, and there's, I'm thinking of valise, I can't think of the word in English. Suitcases, going around this, carousel, and so they pull a random one off, open it up, I guess, and there's a prize. I never did see it all the way to the end, so I don't really know exactly what happens at that point. Yeah, that's another interesting thing, is that even when you come back, sometimes you'll remember a word in French, but not English, or you'll just think the French word sounds better, so you want to use it. Interesting to deal with. But anyway, so what I've been doing to sort of keep my French alive the most is actually downloading episodes of American cartoons in French. For some reason, I don't know, like, cartoons are really easy to understand. And it's not just the ones that are for kids. Like, there's a lot of episodes of Phineas and Ferb in French on YouTube that you can watch, and obviously that's more of like a kid angle. It's on the Disney Channel and all that, but what I really like to watch is The Simpsons, actually, which isn't for kids, totally. So that one is pretty fun to watch, and oddly I can understand almost all of it, which really surprised me the first time I saw it on TV, and surprised me still that I've been back here for a month and I can still almost understand all of it. So that's pretty cool. And as a personal preference, I actually kind of like the voices in the French version better, because they did a really good job of making them sound like the English version, but they're just a little more exaggerated. Like, it's really funny. Like, I'll give you a little snippet of it just so you get an idea of how ridiculous it is. You ready for this?
Papa, non! Il pourrait apprendre le secret des voyages interstellaires! Il est si malin, voyons s'il arrive à faire cette même
Other thing, of course, you know, that the French are famous for culturally is wine and cheese, which are even harder to get over here because the wine isn't as good and the cheese is nowhere near as good. And there's hardly any varieties of it. I went to a supermarket the first time I got back here, and my dad's like, oh yeah, they have a large selection of cheese here. And there's like, you know, this tiny little counter. I'm like, there's full-blown cheese shops in every supermarket in France. This is nothing. And one of the most famous French cheeses is Camembert, which you can barely even get over here. And if you get it, it's basically just brie with a different name. And by brie, I mean this disgusting stuff that they brand as brie, because None of the cheese here tastes like it's supposed to. I've tried like 10 bries since I've gotten back here. I haven't found anything that tastes like the French kind. It's all been very disappointing. The only thing I've found that is probably the closest to the French taste, if you want to get the French experience, is this company. Oh god, I'm so bad with webcam cameras. Okay, yeah, so that, and it's baby brie, whatever that means. But yeah, that tastes kind of French, so try that. And if not, you can, I don't know, maybe go to like a more artisanal shop if you have one of those around you. Maybe they'll have better cheeses and stuff. The problem is that a lot of French cheeses are made with unpasteurized milk, which isn't really legal over here. I don't know, there's like, it's probably a health issue and all that, but it does taste really good, unpasteurized milk and cheese in France. So I kind of miss that in that respect, that it's illegal to have half of the food that I had over there. Alright, so yeah, above everything, I just want to keep the language alive, because, I mean, it was kind of amazing to me how quickly you learn it all when you're over there. They always say, you know, you're immersed in the language, you learn everything way faster than you normally would, and went over there, I was like, oh, you know, I read French pretty well, I think I'll be okay, but hearing it is a completely different experience, so I just want to keep that ability to hear French and to reply to it alive, even though I reply a lot slower than I can understand people talking to me. So, I don't know, besides the things I've already mentioned. I kind of want to maybe get some sort of job opportunity with it, but I don't know what to do except the obvious being a French teacher. So if anyone has any insight, you know, maybe you are bilingual, maybe you've used your language skills to get a job in the past, you know, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear about that, you know, help us all out, all of us, you know, bilingual, francophone culture freaks, probably wanting to know things like that. And as a last final note, I'm hoping that if you're going to France in the future and you're watching my videos to get an idea of what it is, I'm hoping the channel's been useful to you, give you some ideas of what to do in the city, especially after you've exhausted all the normal possibilities. I forgot to mention, I found this really cool YouTube channel a little while ago called Curiosités. It's in French, so you have to speak French in order to really get what they're talking about, but it basically has all these little, you know, unexplored, quirky little sites around Paris. That's how I found the Mur de Je t'aime in the last video, the wall that says I love you all over the place. Been in that area 1,000 times, but I'd never seen that before. So I'll put the link in the doobly-doo, and you can check that out if you speak French, and if you want to know a little bit about the hidden things around Paris, that's a really cool channel you can check out. Don't know if they're updating anymore, because I subscribed, and I haven't seen anything, but here's hoping. And also, I did this thing a while ago. I wanted to make a survival guide, sort of, for people going to France, like, you know, the sort of cultural things you need to know, you might not necessarily learn in class, you know, language, idioms, and stuff like that. And I thought I could fit it into a little video. Filmed it, ended up being like 30 minutes long. So I have to try and edit that. So far I've tried, and the editing's just made it horrible. So I don't know how successful that's going to be. But I'm going to try to get that up, and then that way this channel will have more content and all that, and hopefully that'll be really helpful for people who are going to study abroad. So there's that to look forward to. I don't know what the future of this channel really is. There's two possibilities, really. I could just use it as like a travel vlog channel, if I felt like that, or I could just use it as a more French stuff channel. I contemplated making it a personal channel for a little while, but, I mean, there's nothing really interesting around here. My family's really boring. Like, the other day, me and my brother rearranged all the furniture in the living room just so we could see my mom's reaction. I was hoping it would be this sort of, like, you know, Shane Dawson thing where his mom freaks out, so I, like, put out my camera, and it was pretty much the most disappointing thing ever.
Rearrange the living room for me?
That's all you said?
Really? No. This is not how it's going to be.
But it's awesome!
No.
So I think that's it for me. Yeah, hopefully the survival guide will be up soon, and besides that, I don't know when I'll see you again, so au revoir for now. Not adieu, because that's more of a permanent goodbye. Au revoir just means until we meet again, so that's how I'm going to sign this off. Hope you've enjoyed everything, and see you later!